Hello, everybody. I'm Seth Weissman, and welcome to another episode of Safe Real Estate. Today, I'd like to talk about a compensation question that a number of realtors have asked me about. And here's the scenario. Let's say you have a listing, and the seller has agreed to pay you a commission of 6%. And in that document, the seller asks that you pay the buyer's broker 3%. Everything is going along swimmingly, but then you get an offer where the buyer is only asking that you pay the buyer's broker 2.5% as compensation to the buyer's broker. With the seller, you've agreed to pay the buyer's broker a 3% commission, and now you are being asked to only pay 2.5% by the buyer's broker. And the question is, what happens to that other 0.5%? Does it go to the listing broker? Does it go to the seller? What exactly happens to that? And my advice in that situation has been that what the listing broker should do is to discuss the situation with the seller and ask for further direction. Now, I have had some brokers say, well, the seller has agreed to pay the listing or seller's broker 6%. So if the seller's broker does not have to pay that amount, that the rest of the money belongs to the seller's broker. And while you can make that argument, I think the much more appropriate solution is to get guidance from the seller, because I think the seller could legitimately say, well, I was planning to pay you 6%, but it was with the expectation that half of it would go to the buyer's broker. And now that that does not need to be done, I think what would be more appropriate is for that extra 0.5% to go back to me as the seller. So again, to avoid issues with your seller client, if you are the seller's broker and you end up in that situation, I think the smart thing to do is to get guidance from the seller and come up with an approach that is satisfactory to the seller. Because the seller may well say, you keep anything that you don't have to pay to the buyer's broker. But then again, they may not say that. They may ask for that money to go back to them. I hope this episode of Safe Real Estate has been beneficial. As always, it's great to see everybody. Please continue to tune in. Bye now.